Hi friends, in Planet Earth Dating, it's Sunday, July 26th, 2020. In both the Lynn life and the Jamie body mind, the authorized souls remain only child souls from the deeper, denser dimensions, and all other souls from all other dimensions, as long as the souls are already living by the many search for truth rules already given to the search for truth community by wiser minds above all of us, and those rules include living true to the soul plan assigned to the project lives.
That's right.
Which in this case is the soul plan given to all of humanity on Ground Zero Planet Earth, which is to stop the destruction of life on Earth at humanity's hands using tools sent in by the spirit world, and to stop that destruction in a fair and just way. That is the soul plan. These particular host lives, somebody else is talking now.
Thank you.
These particular host lives also have the assignment to be a portal either to or from the higher dimensions. It's worded differently, different days by different visiting souls, but to be an interdimensional portal so that higher vibration souls can come into the density and help stop the destruction in a fair and just way. For him is the message. And why do you ask? And what has worked in other black holes of corruption to shorten the karmic cycles? And we're putting that question on the table really quickly because we want it to shoot up through the open portals while they're still open, just in case they close. And that's really been the inquiry that is central for the past day or two.
That's right.
What has worked in other black holes of corruption to shorten the karmic cycles? And somebody's asking why those two questions, and they're saying that there's really two inquiries combined into one. And we know that the data shows, and we see somebody with charts and graphs, the data shows that somehow planet Earth has fallen into a black hole, and it seems to be a black hole of corruption created by the vibrations of corruption, and presumably we're attracted here by our own corruption. We at planet Earth, we were attracted here by our own ambient corruption.
That's right.
And like attracts like, and now we're in it and we don't seem to be able to get out of it. But that over and over again, it's been made clear that Earth is nothing special, made clear by higher powers that Earth is nothing special, and therefore we have come to find it very helpful to ask, well, what's worked in other situations that are similar? If Earth is nothing special, then there are other situations that are similar, and what worked there. So we don't have to reinvent the wheel.
That's right.
What has worked in other black holes of corruption to shorten the karmic cycles? And the reason we're using that as the second half of the inquiry, in answer to someone's question upstairs in that room of presences who are kind of like arguing.
Yeah, that's right.
That they can't change. I think it's unconscionable to ask them to change,
That's
possibly. Right. Similar to how humans act here on Ground Zero Planet Earth, when the data is very clearly put on the table that we've got to stop burning fossil fuels and stop poisoning and stop a lot of things that we're doing. And the reaction seems to be, by and large, by governmental agencies and corporate interests and whatnot, is that it's unconscionable for you to ask us to change. And yet we are continuing to destroy all life on Earth, making really good progress. Like if the goal were to destroy life on Earth, if that were the assignment, we would feel very happy and proud because we're making such good progress.
That's right.
Destroying all life on Earth. But since that isn't the assignment, we don't feel happy and proud about it. We feel like we need to kick it into gear. We feel quite like it's desperately time for proactivity. And we are being proactive in our quiet lady way.
That's right.
You know, we're women. And we live in a culture with strong gender bias where elected officials see fit to browbeat other elected officials and attempt to intimidate them. Men attempting to intimidate women. And that's an age-old pattern, so whatever. We certainly experience it. These host lives experience
absolutely.
it. For him is message. Why do you ask? But we do experience that. You know, men seem to have low standards for their own behavior.
That's true.
For him is a message. And why do you ask? So we understand that there are higher powers present right now who have interest in gender equity, and we acknowledge that, and we appreciate it also. And we really want to stay focused on the question of the day, which is what has worked in other black holes of corruption to shorten the karmic cycles. And again, the same questioner is saying, why do you want to do that, in kind of an angry tone?
Yeah,
And
that's right.
it's because, think about potty training, house training a doggy, and trying to get the doggy to not pee and poo in the house, but not providing any input until after the doggy is dead, and consider how successful that would or would not be. Our personal assessment after working through this is that that would not be successful at all.
No, that's true.
And that is the training system that's in place here on planet Earth, is that for the most part karma is held in abeyance until after death, and we don't think that that's workable.
No, that's true.
And so we think that we've got to shorten the karmic cycles, and when we start to do that, there's a big hue and cry by the guardian angelhood saying that's impossible, it's too complex, and we definitely agree that in the center of the bell curve of intention and awareness, that 80% in the center, and maybe the 90% in the center, we think at the 80% in the center it's too complex, and let's start somewhere. Let's just start with the tails of the bell curve, and if you want to start with the 5% at either end, that's fine, or the 1% at either end, that's fine, and the best of the best. We want our karma instantly, because when we shuffle off this mortal coil, we want a clean checkout. We want a clean, fair, just checkout. So we don't want a lifetime of karma piled up. We want our karma instantly. I'd like just today's karma, thanks.
That's right.
Because we would have already dealt with yesterday's karma and last week's karma and last month's karma and last year's karma and the karma since birth, etc. For him is the message. Why do you ask? And what has worked in other black holes of corruption to shorten the karmic cycles? I still see that charts and graphs guy.
Yeah, I do.
And it's definitely something that the others don't like, and they sound kind of like British Parliament.
Yeah, that's exactly what it sounds like.
Yeah, they just shout out rude things like hoodlums, basically.
Yeah, exactly.
Even the House of Lords, in answer to someone's question.
That's
even the House
right.
of Lords, yes, even the House of Lords.
Yes, even the House of Lords.
For him this message. Why do you ask? But now to shorten the karmic cycles, what has worked in other black holes of corruption to shorten the karmic cycles? And this gentleman is basically saying you've got to get a bunch of guardian angels to team, apply the karma to the problem, he says the problem tail of the bell curve, and that way everybody feels like their karmic record is safe if they have bad aim, and instead of smiting the bad guy in the back seat of the car, they accidentally smite their chauffeur. Now they're obviously still charged with smiting the bad guy, and so if they miss it the first time, they need to try again until they smite that guy.
That's right.
And the assignment is to smite the worst of the worst, those who are pulling the engine of destruction. And this does not mean human on human violence. That is not what we're saying. We're saying hand of God, acts of God smiting, so that everybody else around looks up, says, whoa, maybe I need to think twice before I continue in my corrupt ways. That's what we're trying to get to, a training program that trains lives to be respectful of divinity. For whom is the message, and why do you ask? And respectful of true divinity. Somebody else says, well, it's all in the definition.
That's right.
And it is. It is. For whom is the message? Why do you ask? Somebody else says we have a standard to hold to, and that's that we have had the great good fortune to be in the presence of divinity, and that is a standard that is not movable. We know what divinity is like, and to hold to that. What has worked in other black holes of corruption to shorten the karmic cycles? Divinity does that which is required, even though it's not convenient.
That's true.
That is not the only thing that divinity does, but that is something that divinity does. What has worked in other black holes of corruption to shorten the karmic cycles? A divine presence would do that thing. That thing, and the charts and graphs, higher power, kind of like actuary for the gods, is saying, well, here's what worked. Here's what worked. We already have the stats on it. We already know. All that needs to happen is that somebody carry it out. This chicken has been yapping since we started filming. It's a complaining chicken, probably a lying chicken.
That's right.
These chickens have forgotten what factory farms are like, and how many chickens want a backyard life, and that there are 19 billion with a B chickens on planet Earth, ground zero planet Earth, and most of them are in factory farms, and they're asking for backyard lives, pleading for backyard lives, and then they're given a chance at a backyard life, and they become ingrates almost immediately. And to find ourselves in that, and to see how we humans are exactly that way, we souls are exactly that way, we of all dimensions, to find ourselves in the chicken, the ingrate, who given something immediately assumes the gift will continue, pretending that previous gifts of grace will continue to arrive regardless, is a big error. And we all have it, don't we? And now what do? What has worked in other black holes of corruption to shorten the karmic cycles?
I can tell you what it feels like.
What?
The feeling upstairs. It's as if there were record rooms of all of the other black holes of corruption where instant karma has been implemented. And it feels like they're trying to wallpaper over the doors of the record rooms.
Mm-hmm.
And so the records are inaccessible.
They're accessible.
Yeah.
And maybe kept even safer that way.
Yeah.
So apparently the proposal by our good friend Saul, somebody says, is that which has worked in other black holes of corruption. We've got to implement karma, accumulations of karma, not necessarily instant, but we have to start somewhere, like head toward instant karma, like start to balance the tails of the bell curve of karma. Somebody on the bad end of the bell curve of karma, not just the good people who want their karma instantly, but the ones who are the most corrupt. The most corrupt people also have some karmic deliveries. That's what works. That's what works. Try and get that up past security. Who can see that that's what works? I do see hands up.
Yeah, I do.
And are you reporting up that that's what works? I think they just hadn't thought about doing that.
Yeah, that's right.
There we go. And now higher, who can see that implementing instant karma or faster karma for the most corrupt is what works, what has proven to work in other black holes of corruption. Well, it goes up.
Yeah, it does.
Right. Well, now we see what happens.